the stories that are making headlines in the country and the protests in Delhi over the rape of the 5-year-old girl in East Delhi last week have led to a standoff between those demanding the police chief Neeraj Kumar be sacked and the commissioner himself, who says that his stepping down will not matter. This incident also brought back focus on a slew of measures that the government and the Delhi police introduced or claimed that they would introduce to make the city safer for women after the gang rape in December last year that saw unprecedented protests across the city. Alok Pandey picked out 3 of the most high-profile measures that the authorities came up with to check how they were doing.
In the hour we spent at Delhi's 181 exclusive helpline for women, set up in the aftermath of the Delhi gang rape incident in December 2012, we observed that while the helpline seemed up and running and manned by 3 women operators, not all issues had been ironed out. Now all these days later, we found not much had changed with regard to calls.
Sir, good afternoon, sir. आपसे कितनी बार बोला गया है ये नंबर थोड़ा आप देख के डायल कीजिए, ये 181 है और ये आपका wrong number.
A fallout perhaps of inadequate publicity of the purpose of the helpline. Some calls though were from women and were answered with promptness.
Hello. हाँ जी बोलिए. हाँ हाँ. हाँ हाँ. देखिए परेशान मत होइए, पहले थोड़ी सी कुछ डिटेल्स हैं वो आप मुझे बता दें. नाम क्या है आपका?
Since the 10th of January this year, the 181 helpline has received 1,70,095 calls. Over 1 lakh calls have been answered, while 68,000 calls have been abandoned due to lack of clarity on network issues. No data was shared with us about how many complaints have been addressed effectively because of this helpline. After the December gang rape incident, the Delhi police also promised a slew of measures. Perhaps the most important one was to increase the fleet size of these police control room or PCR vans, which are sometimes the first to respond to any complaint on the ground. 350 new vans were promised by the police top brass to add to the existing fleet of about 622 vehicles for the entire city. Out of these 622, 60 odd are unoperational at any given time. In January this year, 12 new vans were added to the fleet with the promise that more would be added soon. Since then, not a single PCR van has been added to the fleet.
We spoke to senior officers in the Delhi police who told us that the next round of induction of PCR vans would not happen before the next 1 or 2 months. They also refused to specify how many new vans would be inducted in the next round.
Another highly publicized measure after December was the introduction of home guards in night buses run by the Delhi Transport Corporation.
After the horrific gang rape in Delhi in December, one measure that the government announced was to introduce home guards in every buses that were part of DTC's night service. Now we just wanted to check up upon whether that is being followed or not, and we are on this bus that is the night service bus that takes route number 419, which basically goes from Ambedkar Nagar in South Delhi to the Old Delhi railway station. And we have found that this bus has a home guard in proper uniform.
In this particular bus, the presence of home guard Dharamveer ensured passengers like Asha Devi could breathe just a little easier even around 10:30 p.m.
नहीं और ये जो गार्ड हैं इनका आपको लगता है थोड़ा फायदा भी है और
हाँ फायदा है क्यों नहीं
क्या फायदा है
हमारा सफर करवा रहे हैं
पहले सुधार ये हुआ जैसे पहले लड़के चढ़ते थे धक्का देते हुए बसों में गार्ड को देख लेते हैं गेटवे में बैठे रहते हैं तो पीछे से आगे चढ़ते नहीं है आगे सिर्फ उतरते हैं पीछे चढ़ते हैं पीछे में बैठे रहता हूँ तो धक्का मुक्का नहीं होती जान के कोई धक्का मारे या फिर वो चीज़ रुकी हुई है थोड़ी सी.
One more aspect that's shown improvement is the police's willingness to register cases related to assault on women. Between January and April 2013, a total of 463 rape cases were registered by the cops in Delhi, up almost 159% from the corresponding period last year.
What has changed since December 12 is that our people are now receiving women complainants, they are recording their complaints, they are taking action, because even though the crime figures have gone up, the working out percentage has been equally high.
But it is perhaps the attitude of policing and dealing with such cases and their aftermath that needs to change for the better before any true progress can be made in containing crimes against women in the city. With Alok Pandey, Neeraj Kumar for NDTV.